to the show, baby, and go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Friday Nitro Review. I am the Tony Schiavone of Wrestling Media, Nick the Geek, and I am joined by the King of Wrestling Media, the Wrestling With Your Thoughts heavyweight champion of the world, the Drip King himself, Jimmy Bebe. Jimmy, how the hell you doing? How's wrestling treating you? And are you looking forward to next week?
The King of Wrestling Media, I like that. I am. I'm going to go ahead and make that crown right here official. That's what it's for. Wrestling has been pretty good. I'm about to start watching some more older stuff. I feel like that's where I'm at right now with my fandom.
Yes.
I've cut
ECW, my friend.
I've cut some stuff out. I don't know how easy is ECW easy to access though, because I feel like I've been told it's not.
And no, it's all on the network.
Is it?
Yeah, it's all on Peacock.
Everything. Because that's what I was.
Realistically, all you need to watch is the pay-per-views.
Yeah, but see, that's I want to take the journeys like we are with this. So I was thinking doing Ring of Honor.
Oh, that'd be
between time periods, because since I'm not going to be able to see Kevin Owens for the time being, I want to go back and watch some Kevin Steen to fill in that void that I'm going to be missing. So, but other than that, yeah, wrestling's good. I've taken some wrestling out of my my weekly watching, so I want to put some more into my weekly watching, and I feel like that's what I'm going to do. But Nitro has been great as a good filler. Just
it was really good.
It's real easy to watch right now. It's an hour, and it's like I go right through it. So I want to add some stuff. So that's what I think I'm going to start doing.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And yes, I'm very excited about WrestleMania next week. I will be in Las Vegas. I am very excited for the experience and the environment, and I might be going to night one. We'll see. I have Joey Janela tickets for the spring break. I'm looking forward to that. A lot of talent that I have never seen perform live.
Spring break's always a good show. Yes, we went 2 years ago in LA, and it was great.
Sabu will be at he's supposed to be. We'll see how that works.
Sabu has no hair now. It's really weird.
Well, I know he's been known to just not go to show. So we'll see how that works.
He does like to no show.
But Gabe Kidd's on the card. I'm excited to see Gabe Kidd.
Oh, that's cool. Gabe's a lovely lad.
There's a few people that I haven't seen that I'm very curious to kind of check. Like Minoru Suzuki. Finally get to see Minoru
Suzuki. You never seen Suzuki?
I have not.
Oh, no. I
very excited
Suzuki
for this.
In a warehouse in Manchester a few years ago. It was fantastic.
Amanda hates him. She hates his hair.
Murder Grandpa.
She hates his hair, but I'm so excited, and I'm hoping to run into him like you guys did, like with Vikingo and Alley Catch. Like I'm hoping that happens with me, with Murder Grandpa, because I love him. So
that'd be really
I'm excited for that. So
that'd be awesome. Right, but we have a show to do, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll stop chatting and we will get straight to it. We are here to review WCW Monday Nitro from the 6th of November, 1995, approaching the end of the first half year now, fast approaching the end of the first half year. The show opens with the usual commentary team of Eric Bischoff, Steve Monger McMichael with his stupid 2-hour this week dressed like a clown, and, of course, the brilliant Bobby the Brain Heenan, who spends most of the night. Now, I'm going to talk about this now because it's interjected very randomly as the show goes on. Bobby spends most of the night building up the new Japanese contingent that are going to start appearing on WCW Saturday nights. And for those of you that don't know, they appear later on in the show, and it is Sonny Ono, Masahiro Chono, Marufuji, and Jushin Thunder Liger. It's a very young Jushin Thunder Liger at this point. Well, not very young, but a lot younger. And a very young Masachono. He's basically in his prime at this point. Marufuji still is getting on. But that's happening in the background. So we'll just cover that now, and then we'll get on with the show. So what was up first? First up was the fact that Eric Bischoff completely pushed that tonight was the fans call the shots. So they set up a hotline, WCW hotline, and the fans could call in and vote on either someone from the red team and someone from the red locker room and blue locker room to wrestle each other in the main event. Now, anyone that knows anything about these, the fans get to decide things, is well aware that this match was already pre-planned and determined before any of these phone calls happened. This was just WCW's way of making money.
I was going to say, I think this is clearly a cash grab, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they did leave it up to the fans voting. They just knew exactly how the fans were going to vote because of the two names that were in each locker room.
Well, now let me see if I can remember the two teams. Now,
I got you. I wrote them down.
Oh, fantastic, Jim. Go for it.
On one side, you had Ric Flair, Big Bubba, Scott Norton, Shark, DDP, and the Blue Bloods, which I thought was very strange because Scott Norton and Shark are feuding, but you're going to put them in a room together. And they were kind of fake wrestling with each other, and it looked really bad, really stupid.
It was awful.
I thought it was a very dumb move. And then the other side, you had Mr. JL, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Sting, Alex Wright, the Nasty Boys, Johnny B. Bad, and another person I do not know. I did not catch their name, and I did not care enough to rewind to see who it was because
the guy in green.
Yes, with the dog, like Mongo.
Yes, I said to my brother, I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, no idea. At first, I thought he was part of the Nasty Boys because I just saw the one in the front, but then I saw the other one walk around to the front, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, no, it is. It is very rare, ladies and gentlemen, that either of us do not know who somebody is that's been on WCW or mainstream wrestling television in the last 30 years. I have no clue who this man is. I think his name is Nathan because that was written on the back of his jacket. I think it said Nathan or something. But we don't know who he is. And realistically, totally inconsequential, will not come into the proceedings at all.
Yeah. How am I supposed to vote for that guy? Because that's who I would have voted for back in the day. I want to see that guy with his dog out there wrestling. Yeah. But now, couldn't even do that because I don't even know his name was. And I don't think they did a good job of letting me know. So
no, not at all. After this, they went into talking about how Randy Savage is still not medically cleared, so he cannot get his hands on Lex Luger after Lex Luger's horrifying attack on him at the pay-per-view. Then we went straight into our first match. Match one was, if you can call it a match, was a gentleman I have also never seen before called Cobra.
NWO Sting.
Oh, was it?
That's Jeff Farmer.
Oh, is it Jeff Farmer?
Yes, it is. Oh, look at that. I'm giving you some tidbits you didn't know about, baby. I did some research this week.
I didn't realize that was Jeff Farmer at all.
Yeah. Because I saw him and I said,
long enough for me to recognize.
Yeah, he looked a little familiar to me. And so I just was like, all right, who is this guy? Who is Cobra? And then Jeff Farmer, and it's the face structure. It's fake Sting. So
yeah, you said it. But so Jeff Farmer had a match, kind of, against the Giant. The Giant, he came down all fully into his role. Then the Giant walked down looking half asleep, chokeslammed him, pinned him, 1, 2, 3. Match over. Shortest match in Nitro history thus far.
So,
go on.
The one thing I thought was just kind of off about this was I'm all for squash. I don't care. It's for storyline reasons. They're like, yeah, I'm defending the title because I'm a better champion than Hulk Hogan was, but they're handpicking these opponents that literally have zero opportunity or zero chance. And I get it, and I'm fine with that. It was really weird to see Giant chokeslam him, but then get down on the ground and pin him like that instead of just putting a foot on him and just like that was a weird to me. I know that's such a small nitpick, but
no. But it's the little things that matter.
Yeah, I'm like, why did he do that? Like, why didn't he just stand on him and then
stand on his chest?
Be lazy. You're the Giant, and this is supposed to be made to look very easy for you, and that would have made it look even easier for you had you just put a foot on.
To play devil's advocate, they may be trying to paint the picture, or at least Paul White may have been trying to paint the picture that he still takes things seriously.
That's fine. I just from a viewer's from a critique. A critical aspect, like it's just like, but it's also hindsight. I've seen a lot of wrestling since then, and I'm able to kind of like see other people have done it that way, and that's probably all it is. It's not enough to make me deduct points for the whole show, though. Like it was just that was just a little weird.
Yeah, it was. But after this, we cut into a Mean Gene interview where Mean Gene was in the red locker room with Ric Flair and the crew, and Tony Schiavone was in the blue locker room with Sting and the crew. And I have it written down here. Oh no, that was later.
That was the second point.
That was the second one. We then cut to Hogan and Savage in Venice Beach.
Before we go any further, my favorite part of the whole Giant and Cobra match, and Mongo has earned another week here. He says, Bobby, you ain't seen nothing that short since your honeymoon. And I'm like, good line, Mongo. You earned your paycheck this week. You may return another week. So that's the ongoing
commentary yet.
That's the ongoing thing with Mongo at this point. He has to earn his week to week. And when he gives me one-liners like that, and like the one he gave us last week, it's like, okay, you can come back next week, but you better be ready.
Yeah.
I'll be listening for these one-liners from now on, just to see if he's earning.
Yes, you should, just to see if he keeps hitting the spots.
Mongo's line of the week.
Yeah, there we go. It's a good little segment. We should add that.
Yes.
We'll add that. Right, yeah, after this, so we cut to Hulk Hogan in Venice Beach, still wearing black with Macho Man Randy Savage, very much looking like two members of the NWO. Very much, especially Savage.
Yes.
And my favorite part about this entire segment was the random man with a beard that was in between Savage and Hogan. They were having a proper serious conversation about how Savage needs to stick to Hogan like glue, and they're going to take the Dungeon of Doom down one at a time because, brother, they can't be allowed to run wild any longer. They're trying to crush Hulkamania, the prize, the vitamins, blah, 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 blah. And all the time, this dude in the middle with the beard who looks absolutely drunk as a skunk is just going, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was.
No, I was going to say, no, it wasn't. But literally, it's just in the middle going, yeah, that you tell him, Hulk.
It wouldn't shock me if because it looked like this was on Venice Beach. And it wouldn't shock me if they were just on the boardwalk and they found some drunk dude, gave him $10 and said, hey, do you mind sitting here while we do this? And he's like, yeah, that sounds great. That's what it seemed like happened there. And Hulk was bad. Hulk was horrible here.
Yes, he was.
Which sucks because he'd been on a streak of 2 weeks. Yeah. He was gone last week, but the 2 weeks prior, he was on fire.
And Savage, on the other hand, had my favorite line of the entire promo when he said, you should take the low road, Hulk, and I'll take the high road. I need to stop doing that. They'll never see us
the high road and you take the low road, Hulkster. That's my best. That's the best I can do.
I just can't do. I'm too old. I can't do Randy Savage anymore. My voice box won't allow it. But then we finish up this promo and we cut straight into match 2, which is the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan with Jimmy Hart versus the Renegade, and Jimmy Hart was the best thing in this match. Jimmy Hart spends this is a very short match. The Renegade comes out like a house on fire, hits 4 clotheslines, Kevin Sullivan to the outside of the ring. Kellerman beans his head off the guardrail, takes over, gets in the ring, beats him down for a little bit, puts him in the trio O. And I honestly can't remember the finish of the match.
A coup de grace from Kevin Sullivan.
Yes, it was.
I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I don't remember seeing it from anyone other than Finn Balor. That's the first
time. Not this time period.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone else do it other than Finn Balor. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was actually. Thank you for reminding me because I actually wrote it down. I should have checked the notes.
It was 2 hours, not 2 hours, 2 minutes and 50-second match.
Yeah. But as I say, for me, the highlight of this match was Jimmy Hart screaming at the Renegade. You're not the Renegade. You're just Rick. You're Rick, baby. That's all you are. You're
when
not the Renegade.
When they were wiping his face paint off after the match with beer. Mm-hmm. It was great. I'm like, that's awesome. That's some real heel shit right there. Like, for that time period, like that was really good. I liked the post match much more than I liked the match itself. It was interesting to see the Taskmaster, aka Kevin Sullivan, in a wrestling match at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't mind this. It was what it was. It was just a throwaway match. But
just to jump in, halfway through this match is when they show the Japanese contingent.
Yes. No. It was the next match.
Was it?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Yeah, they even just mentioned them in this match.
They mentioned, Bobby was mentioning them, but they introduced them in the next one, and it's because of I think the Cruiserweight connection. So
yeah, I would agree.
Spoiler for the next match, everybody.
Yeah. Well, we've got a bit before we get to the next match, because then we cut to a Ric Flair promo. It was a promo with the red team, but it was the Ric Flair promo.
Yes.
Where Ric Flair tells Sting, if you don't like it, do something about it, baby. We then cut to the blue locker room, and Sting retorts. And I'm pretty sure he threatened to kill Ric Flair. Because he says he'll leave him for dead. which is a very unsting thing. Although I would like to point out, this is the beginning of the end of blonde-haired flat-top Sting.
And I have a question about this because it goes hand in hand with my theory that Sting was never an option to be part of the NWO.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was always the plan. Why they would lie about it, I don't know. And maybe I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. But had Sting ever not dyed his hair beach blonde as a wrestler prior to this?
Yes.
When?
When he first broke in and he was one half of the Blade Runners with Ultimate Warrior, they both had jet black hair for about the first 6 months, and then Sting dyed his hair blonde.
Was he Sting then, or was he just
He was Blade Runner Sting.
Okay, so when he became Sting, were they heels or were they faces back as the Blade
They were
Runners?
heels.
Okay,
they were heels.
So,
well, they were an attempt to recreate the Road Warriors for a different territory.
Okay.
So they weren't really heels, but they were just treated like the Road Warriors, where they just beat people up.
Yes, because obviously Crow Sting comes with the black hair, and I don't know if all this was the plan, but the timing of Hogan being very Hollywood-esque and Macho Man now being very Madness-esque, and now Sting not dyeing his hair blonde so that he can grow out the black and it being long. Like it really seems like seeds are being planted here. And maybe it's just hindsight playing with my mind. Obviously. I don't know. But it just seems like maybe this was all planned way sooner than they led us to believe.
I have always thought that Bischoff had the NWO angle planned for a long time because a lot of things, he stole it from Japan.
Yes. He just did it way better.
Japan had an NWO for 2 years prior to Eric Bischoff introducing the NWO.
Yeah, it was.
And I do agree.
They were all in like black suits and stuff.
Yeah. He did it way better.
Yeah, way better.
He did it way better, which is why it got over. But this is an old idea in its essence. So I tend to agree with you that it does look like they were planting seeds for this all along.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that makes you doubt that is Scott Hall's the one who got Sting to do the Crow.
And that's why I'm saying I don't necessarily think that he was going for the Crow look, but I think the bleach blonde hair was definitely part of like something was coming. So a big change with Sting was coming. I that's what I think. And I don't think that this was like the beginning of him turning Crow. I think it was just the beginning of him making a major change.
Character shift.
Like it was going to be an ominous character like Sting ended up becoming. So
we then, after this promo, we had an advert for WCW Saturday Night. They are back in force.
We've also, by this time, we've also had a World War III promo.
Yes, we have.
Which I'm very excited for because World War III is insanely underrated, baby.
It is so bad. It's amazing.
It is the dumbest concept I've ever seen to date, and I love it.
Second dumbest. We'll get to the second dumbest when we hit WCW 2000.
Bro. That was amazing.
Triple cage.
No. See, these are the things that I love. They're stupid, but I love them. I love the stupidity.
Simon sent me a little thing the other day, which was, when the ramp that Canyon got thrown through off the triple cage. Well, Bischoff had marked it with tape and told all the boys in a meeting backstage, do not go near this. Do not go near it. And Tony Schiavone was talking about it on his podcast the other day. And it turns out Kurt Hennig decided to try and rib Eric Bischoff. So while he was having his match with Sean Stasiak, he kept going over to the ramp and going to slam him on that part of the ramp. And then his back would conveniently give out every time. I thought that was funny.
Kurt was awesome.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig, God rest him, was brilliant. But we then went into the best match on the show. We went into match 3. We went into Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit. Far too short.
6 minutes and 29 seconds.
But they got a lot in.
Yes.
They got a lot in. Very powerful match.
Which is the style, though. Like, it's fast-paced. It's bang, 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 move, 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 move. That's the cruiserweight style. And whereas those guys weren't cruiserweight division at this point, that was, again, that's like the precursor to it.
Well, during this match, Bischoff was pushing the concept of the cruiserweight division pretty hard, talking about, there's going to be a lot of competition for that first cruiserweight championship.
And that's when they did the Japanese group.
Correct.
With
they cut to Masachono, Jushin Thunder Liger, and I believe Marufuji.
Yes.
I don't hate me if I'm wrong on Marufuji. I am not sure. I think it's Marufuji, but I definitely know it's Masahiro Chono and Jushin Thunder Liger along with Sonny Ono. Other than this, we went on this. Then they cut back to Eddie and Benoit. Benoit had taken control for a while with a couple of really stiff, nice Northern Light suplex, nice snap suplex. Got sent to the outside. Beautiful snap suplex. Went to the outside. Eddie climbs up on the ropes. Ben goes for a dive. Benoit moves. Eddie climbs up on the top turnbuckle. Dives quite a hell of a distance onto Benoit, over the ring post, down onto the floor. Takes control of the match. A couple of pin attempts. Benoit breaks out. Some knife edge chops. A drop kick. A nice Hurricane Rana. And then Eddie wins with the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling, the surprise roll up.
No, it was a crossbody.
Yeah, but it was out of nowhere.
So it's a crossbody. So it's not a roll up.
All right. Well, an out of nowhere move.
Yes. Which is fine, because I think when you get caught off guard with things, like, that's when you tend to like slip up and lose.
Yeah.
But Benoit didn't lose because he put his feet on the ropes, and the ref just didn't see it because he was out of position. Yes. Shame on you, referee.
Yes, which gives us an excuse for another rematch, which is always good.
What I thought was interesting here is Bobby is clearly the heel commentator.
Correct.
And he was pointing out Benoit just got screwed, which is not heel. Like, that's not a bad thing. Like, he's pointing, and Eric Bischoff
when you take into account Benoit will be joining the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, but he hasn't yet. So
and
it's like
Enan is the Four Horsemen's personal promotion machine on commentary.
I get that, but in the moment, he's pointing out someone who just got screwed, and then Eric Bischoff's like, he didn't get screwed, the ref didn't see it, we don't have time to show a slow-mo. And it's like, that's bad. You're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And Mongo's just over there going, oh, my dog says shut up, Bobby, or just whatever it is Mongo does at this point. Like, I was like, why? That's not cool. That's not cool. I didn't like that. That's bad commentators.
No. Also, during this match, besides the Cruiserweight division, Bischoff was heavily pushing the please call and decide what the main event's going to be.
Yes.
Like,
and again, the promos goes back to what I was saying before. The promos were kind of pushing, like, hey, this is the match that you need to vote for.
Everybody wants to see.
And the storyline prior to this was, this is the match you want to see. So again, I do think that they were taking the calls and listening to the viewers, and Sting and Flair did win. But it's because they were pushed.
Yeah,
very
everybody
hard.
Was angled in that direction in the first place.
Yeah.
With blinkers on, to put it bluntly. But we then went to, where are we?
Go to see. This is why I had this promo in the back, and this is where he went off and said he wanted Flair and everything.
We go to a Sting promo where Sting pays how much he wants to take Flair back, how much he wants to pay him back, how much he's sick of being screwed and hates Flair to his core. He's going to leave him for dead.
Yes.
Sting was on fire. This was the fieriest promo that he has cut since Nitro began. It showed a lot of heart, a lot of passion, a lot of anger, which you didn't see a lot from babyfaces back in the early 90s and the mid-90s. This was really good.
Which is a wink to what's going to happen as the night and shows progress.
Yes, it is. After the Sting promo, the main event, the fans have voted, the main event has been made. And it is surprise, surprise, Ric Flair versus Sting.
No way. It's not the Nasty Boys versus
I know, or Nathan.
Johnny B. Bad.
Not Nathan. Also, during this scene, Bobby the Brain Heenan's just drinking sake.
Yeah, he's part of the crew.
Yeah, he's part of the Japanese contingent, so he's got a sake bottle and sake cup, and he's just drinking sake. Blah, 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 blah. And then we go to our main event. We go to our main event of Sting versus Ric Flair. Sting comes out first to the best theme tune of all time, Man Called Sting. Just because if you didn't know who he was, by the end of the first verse, you know who he is. It's brilliant. Such good marketing back then. And then, of course, Ric Flair comes out to the classic 2001 Space Odyssey. They get in the ring, and this is what I like to refer to as a standard Sting Flair affair.
Yes.
This is a good Sting Flair TV match. This is not anything overblown. I mean, Sting does 3 gorilla press slams because it's an easy spot that they've done a dozen times. Nice drop kick at one point. Sting a splash. Sting putting a lot of fire behind everything he did because he's really angry with Ric Flair and really hateful. Ric Flair takes over on the outside with a poke to the eye and a slam into the guardrail. Gets Sting back in the ring, starts working over the leg, slaps on the figure 4. Sting's in the figure 4 for quite a long time.
Can I pause real quick?
Yeah, of course.
The spot that I thought was hilarious. It's just goes. You talk about how Sting is like the most gullible person in the history of wrestling, and when Flair hits Sting with the suplex on the outside, and then he's all woo and doing all this, and he goes to the guardrail and he looks around and Sting is up. He goes, no, Stinger, and then Sting, like an idiot, goes for a Stinger splash, as if Ric Flair does not see it coming from a mile away and just moves. And this is how Flair gains control. And it's like, yes, Sting, you really are the most gullible person I've ever seen, because how would you possibly fall for that?
Sting's an idiot. That's the best way to put it. I love him. He's the best wrestler of all time, in my opinion. But Sting is a fucking idiot when it comes to kayfabe. The man falls for everything all the time. He has done for his entire life. His entire wrestling career, Sting is the most gullible man in the history of professional wrestling. He has been swerved more times than Strickland. It is just, it's ridiculous, but it's fantastic. But I say this, I love this match.
Yeah, it was very fun.
I thought it was loads of fun. I thought that Sting did everything Sting needs to do in these types of matches. Rick does everything he needs to do in these type of matches. There was no wasted motion. There was no pause for break. Everything flowed nicely. Flair gets Sting in a figure 4. Sting no sells, hulks up, beats his chest, gets out the figure 4 leg lock, picks up the referee at one point because he nearly hits him and carries him and puts him on the top turnbuckle. While he does this, Ric Flair gets out the dreaded foreign object, which was either a roll of quarters or taped up knuckle dusters. I'm not sure which.
I think it was knuckle brass knucks.
Pops Sting in the face, shoves said foreign object in his trunks, goes for the pin, but Sting kicks out.
Yeah, he's not ready for that. He's like, I'm not done with you, Rick.
Yeah, it's not happening. Sting is not having it gone tonight. Sting gets up, goes crazy, no sells everything Flair does, hits a Stinger splash. Flair goes down, Scorpion Deathlock. Flair taps out, but Sting does not release the hold.
Before we get to this next part, I have to ask, because I haven't seen him use it on Nitro yet. Okay. And I haven't seen a ton of Sting prior to when I know him from. Yeah. When is this like the first time he used the Scorpion Deathlock? Or was he using it prior? Okay. And has it always been called the Scorpion Deathlock?
It's always been called the Scorpion Deathlock. He did it before Bret Hart.
Okay. I just think that's a weird name for a surfer guy.
It's a Japanese, it's a Japanese hold.
Yeah, for sure.
Scorpion Deathlock. Sting got it from his time in Japan when he was breaking into the business.
Okay.
And he just liked the name, which is where the Scorpion came from, because he's Sting.
Yeah. I just thought it was just a weird name for Surfer Sting. It made sense for Crow Sting because he's a dark figure. He's got
but
he's really embracing the Scorpion.
It's because the wrestler whose name I do not know, sorry, that he got it off in Japan, called it the Scorpion Deathlock, so Sting just stuck with it.
Okay.
But yeah, he does not release the hold. The entire blue locker room come out, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and everybody else, and they eventually get Sting off. And Eddie Guerrero comes out as well with Mr. JL first. All the baby faces assemble to get Sting off Flair, and so Sting releases the hold, gets out of the ring, stands about for a minute, gets all angry again, gets back in the ring and puts Flair back in the Scorpion Deathlock. And it takes, of all people, Sting's best friend, the newly healed Lex Luger, comes down, says something to Sting. Sting releases the hold, and Luger and Sting leave together. Luger with a big smile on his face, and Sting looking perplexed.
And Lex being calm as could be. Now, what I'd like to point out about this is before they were the blue team, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so before the blue team even came out, Eric Bischoff was like, "There's Luger," and I'm like, "Where? I don't see it." Bischoff jumped the gun on this one.
Yes, he did.
He was nowhere to be seen. And then after all that stuff happened, he goes, "Luger finally broke free of security," and I'm like, "No, he's just kind of chilling. He's walking like." Like nothing just happened. And he walked in so smug, so calm, like just calm. And he just said the thing to Sting. And then they left on the cliffhanger of what did he say to Sting. So this is a great ending to a show. I dare say to date, this is the best ending Nitro has had because I want to know what he said to Sting.
However,
I clearly know why Sting listened to him because of the best friends aspect. Correct. I clearly know what Luger has intentions on. Join the Dungeon of Doom. I know this, but what did he say and why did Sting listen to him? Like, I know why he listened to him, but why did he not take into account the other stuff, I guess?
Why does he not consider who Lex is as a person?
Yes. Why not take into account the things Lex has done the last 2 weeks?
Exactly.
So I'm very curious. This is a great ending. And
however,
tidbit, the inventor of the Scorpion Deathlock is Riki Choshu.
Thank you, Riki Choshu.
You're welcome.
Right, I knew that it was, but it completely threw me off. So that wasn't the end of the show.
You're right. It wasn't. Yeah, I forgot.
I completely agree. It's the best ending any of the main events have had. It is. They told a story. They got you hooked for next week, but that wasn't the end of the show because the end of the show was Mean Gene Okerlund once again in the ring interviewing Jimmy Hart, Kevin Sullivan, and the Giant. And I would like to refer to this as the power of attorney promo.
So I want to say this. I remember this segment, and we talked about the Jimmy Hart, Giant, and Kevin Sullivan stuff at the beginning of the show. And I feel like this segment would have been perfect to have after the Giant did what he did at the beginning.
Straight after the chokeslam.
He wins. They do this segment. That makes more sense. I think the structure of the show was off. And the ending would have been so much cooler had they done the Lex thing. But
I completely agree.
This isn't a bad segment.
No. This is funny as hell.
It's wrong place.
You get to hear Jimmy Hart for about 5 minutes with his Mickey Mouse ass voice talking about the fact
I'm the power of attorney, baby. It was me. I've been doing this all along. Like, yeah, okay.
I was here doing the work. And basically, he reveals that in the contract that he signed for Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight title against the Giants, it was determined that if Hulk Hogan got disqualified, he would lose the WCW Championship. However, a lawyer, I believe it was a lawyer, who represents WCW, then came to the ring and basically informed him that while it said in the contract that Hogan would lose the WCW title, it did not say that his opponent, being the Giant, would therefore win the WCW title. So the WCW title has now been removed from the Giant's waist. It is not Hulk Hogan's anymore. It is being held up and it is being defended in the triple ring 60-man battle royal
World War III.
Which, if anybody hadn't seen this pay-per-view, is a car crash.
Love it.
It's a wonderful car crash.
I haven't seen it.
I won't spoil. I was going to spoil the ending, but I won't.
Please
all I'm going to say is Hogan bullshit.
I love the concept of just the 3 rings, 60 men, and then they get down to so many others, and they have to go. Like, it's so dumb.
Oh, it's so dumb. So,
and they're like, we're going to outdo the Royal Rumble. It's like, you didn't. But man, is it stupid fun.
Basically, the way this match is structured is there are 3 rings in the arena. There are 20 men in each match. They don't come out individually like they do in the Royal Rumble. They're all just in the ring. Like
they parade down like it's New Orleans.
They all just come down the ring in one big line, one after another. They get in the rings, 20 men in each ring, and when it gets down to 5 men left in each ring, those 5 men have to all converge into one ring. Right? It's never determined who tells them which ring they've got to converge into, but they do. They have to converge into one ring. And then these men will battle it out, and the winner of this match, who's the last man standing, will be the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
The one thing I'll say
the problem with this match is it's not very well structured.
No.
And unfortunately, watching this match, Jimmy, is very hard because there are 3 screens on TV at all times. And it's very difficult to pay attention to them. But one thing you will take away from this match is one word. Hogan.
So I think the thing I like the most about the World War III match, that again, I know it's a stupid concept and it's bad, but what I have noticed in the ones I've watched is, unlike in WWE, the alliances stick.
Yes.
People aren't backstabbing each other.
No.
Like early on, just to get ahead. Like
the Nasty Boys look after each other.
Yes.
Ming and Haku.
And I wish that's my only complaint about the Royal Rumble ever, is that's what they do way too often, is the alliances will just break, and they'll be at 16, and then the friend will throw his friend over, like, got one over on you, and it's like, no, you just screwed yourself, you dummy.
Yeah.
So
now you don't have someone to help you for the rest of the match.
I do like that in World War III they do tend to stick with the alliances until something goes bad. So, but it is stupid fun, and I'm very much looking forward to this. And I expected Hogan buffoonery to happen.
Oh no! It's just the fact that Bischoff is so up Hulk's arse at this point.
Oh yeah.
And that you can tell what he had for breakfast, and
yeah, he's his puppet.
They focus on Hogan so much during this match. The match mainly focuses on Savage, Hogan, Giant, Sting, and Luger.
That's fine.
They are the main event names in the match.
That's fine.
So the match is semi-structured around them, but it's very roughly done. And unfortunately, the way it's filmed, the way it's shot, until it gets down to one ring, when it becomes coherent and easy to watch. But by that point, they're all gassed except for Sting. And Savage. Savage isn't gassed either. But besides Sting and Savage, they're all gassed. They can barely move. And it's just left to them to pick up the scraps. But it's a good match for just the fact that it is total chaos car crash.
Yeah. I'm good.
It's not a good match it's a good wrestling match. It's just fun.
It's stupid fun.
Yeah, it's stupid fun.
I love stupid fun.
I
love stupid fun. So before I give my grade, I will ask you a question about Monday Nitro. This is the 10th episode, so we've had 10 episodes. And if this was a television show, who do you think is the main character for Nitro to this point?
Ooh.
For me,
Eddie Guerrero.
I think it's Lex Luger. He's been involved in pretty much a storyline the entire time. He's had big matches. He's part of a major storyline with the Dungeon of Doom now. When you look at the package, like the opening intro, like he's a very big part of that. The closing shot of the first episode was his debut. I feel like they did a really wonderful job of highlighting Luger as like he is a big deal.
I would agree.
And I would say he's the main character.
Change the question. Because I believe there are about 5 main characters.
Yeah. But if you had to single it down to one guy, I know it's...
unfortunately, it's Hogan.
See, and Luger's been on every episode, I'm pretty sure.
Luger has. Yeah, no, I think he missed a week. I think he missed 1 week, and that was storyline because he was avoiding something, I think. But I could be wrong.
Luger.
I should know. We've watched them all. But
week 1, he debuts.
Yeah.
Week 2, the Hogan confrontation.
Yeah.
Maybe week 3.
Yeah, I don't think he was there. I'm sure he's missed 1 week.
But he was mentioned because it was part of the Macho Man thing going on.
Yeah,
Macho Man was referenced.
He's
always been a part of the show.
It's a fair shout. It's just very surprising that Lex became the main character so early on, considering how little interest Bischoff had in him originally.
So I feel like it was part of the like, hey, I'll come over, but I want to be treated like a big deal, not like second rate. And whereas Hogan is and Flair and Sting, they're all bigger stars. I just feel like Luger's been like the main focus of Nitro.
Well, if you look at a lot of, and don't take this the wrong way, Jimmy, badly made American television, the main character of the show... I do take that the wrong way. Well, you should, because the main character, because they're terrible. After what you guys did to Red Dwarf and The Office, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
I will not hear any crap about The Office, dude. That is one of the greatest television shows ever made.
Yeah, it was when Ricky Gervais was the main character.
No, sir. I'm starting to watch The Office one, and I have no complaints about it. But the American one makes it a better show.
Well, you still cannot be forgiven for what you did to Red Dwarf.
What's Red Dwarf? I don't even know.
Watch it. Find out.
You're telling me it's bad. I don't want to watch it.
No. Red Dwarf, the
I'll just watch
English
The Office
original
again. It's
version of
that
Red
good.
Dwarf. The original version of Red Dwarf is a comedy show set in space.
I'm not watching it.
It's hilarious. It's got a Scouser. It's brilliant. I'm going to force you to watch it one day, Jim. You're absolutely going to adore it. Anyway, so back to the subject of wrestling. Sorry,
my bad.
There, people. What is your grade for this week's WCW Nitro on the 6th of November, 1995?
I'm giving it a B because I think everything was good on the show.
I liked it.
My only issue was the closer. You did the wrong closing segment. I think
should have happened before the main event.
The cohesion, the fluidity of the show would have made a lot more sense had you had Giant defend the world title when he's not the champion. Boom. And then do the whole, he is champion, baby. It was in the contract. And then they come out and say, no, he's not. World War III is where we're going to figure out. And then you're promoting World War III throughout the rest of the show. And then you leave on a great cliffhanger of what did Sluger say to Sting? I think that's my only complaint. And I don't think that's nitpicking. I think that is just bad.
No, that's good criticism. That's good criticism, and that's what we're here for.
You're still learning. It's only episode 10. We give AEW the excuse they're only 5 years old. So we can give Nitro the 10 episode excuse here. But overall, everything was good. I had no complaints about the show.
No, not that I thought this was one of the better Nitros we've watched. That proves the point that I was saying last week. This is the pattern that they do. They have a really good build to a pay-per-view. Then they have a pay-per-view, which is hit and miss. Then the episode following the pay-per-view is never any good. But the week after,
they get back on track.
And it starts to get back on track. I thought this was a good episode of Nitro. I thought this was a good start to the World War III build. I do agree that the main event segment should have been done after the Giant match at the beginning of the show and then build through the show. But other than that, I thought this was a fine episode of Nitro. Good matches, fine 10-minute main event, wonderful, just really good show. So, ladies and gents, that was the Friday Nitro review. If you like what we do here at the Friday Nitro review, please subscribe to the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. Do whatever you can. It really helps us out. It's free, and it's the only way that YouTube algorithm knows we exist. And please like and share on Spotify.
I was also going to say, also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, hit that little bell, put the notifications on so you can join us live. Join the chat. I like to be interactive with the fans when we're talking things. So, if there's a comment in there and you're not being rude or a butthead about it, I'll throw it up and we'll communicate with you. We do enjoy the interaction. And then also on Spotify, please follow and rate the show. That's it. Listen,
we really are trying to grow. Yes. We've noticed a lot of growth for us on YouTube in the last few weeks, and we're really happy with it. We're really thankful for the fact that more and more people are starting to tune in. Thank you so much. Love you all. But always remember, we are but two geeks obsessed with a good old show, and our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. See you next week.
Toodles. I gotta find a more era